Hey, did you hear? A weird guy's running a company in Ginza. It just so happens that I have the same name as its president, Suzuki. If you have a business card with his name on it, you can meet with him. Suzuki's card obtained. So I guess the implication is, like, this guy also has business cards and, yeah. And, you know, you can just give them this random guy's business card and they'll believe him. Well, anyway. So, yeah, I am doing Let's Plays again, and I am following up with Megami Tensei 2. Not Shin Megami Tensei, but Megami Tensei. Yeah, it's been 2 years. So probably the question is, why bother? And well, since the last time I did these, I had, a computer die, and then I got a new day job, and I moved 2 states away from where I was living then. And it just kind of got lost in the shuffle, and also just dedicating myself to other projects, but I miss doing Let's Plays. And I just so happened, while I was going through my hard drive, because I thought the save data was lost, but it turned out I actually did remember to back it up for once. And I never forgave myself for not finishing my Shin Megami Tensei 1 Let's Play for Trash Culture all those years ago. So between guilt and sort of nostalgia about how much I enjoyed doing these, the series admittedly wasn't nearly as successful, even by my channel's set standards, as my Phantasmagoria Let's Plays. But I mean, when you get like 40 views on a video on a good day, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm doing all this for me anyway, so, you know, I might as well put my voice out there and play a game I would play anyway, so. But another thing was, like, I don't want to spoil it now, but I did have, ideas for doing other games. Games that aren't RPGs, because I found that, doing commentary on playing RPGs is kind of tough, because you have to go off on tangents, and even after editing it can you know, it's hard to spice up video of you just wandering around various dungeons, so yeah, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't know what the new subscribers to my channel will think of me doing videos on history as well as Let's Plays of obscure 90s, because I think most YouTube channels by this point in history are more focused in that, but hey. The Demon Summoner in Krawakin steals things from the many people he's defeated. He probably has lots of unique treasures. Yeah, someone will have to kill at some point. Yeah, and at least I can open myself up for people giving me shit for my Japanese pronunciations, like they do my pronunciations for my history videos. Gotta give the language purists out there something to focus their rage on. But yeah, I'm still exploring Ginza, I believe. But also in the time since I did the Let's Plays, I should mention that I actually got around to playing Shin Megami Tensei 4 and Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. The sort of interquel of 4, or alternate telling, or whatever you want to call it. Soft reboot, maybe. And my opinions are that I mean, they're not heretical opinions at all. I'm pretty much with the mainstream of game critiques on this one. Shin Megami Tensei 4 had the better story, but Apocalypse had the better gameplay. I was one of those people who was kind of taken aback at the edgy marketing that Apocalypse got, but at the same time it just had like pretty much the standard RPG, Japanese RPG storyline of, hey, aren't things better when you're working as a team, when you care about your community than if you're an individual? I mean, I know the game makers say that the route where you basically go kill everybody and start a universe based on the principle of extreme individualism is as valid an ending as the happy one, where, you know, you basically kick Yahweh's ass and begin a new golden age for humanity, or what's left of it. That those two endings are equally valid, but I really don't buy it. like if you choose to go with, if you choose to do what they call the massacre route, the game really does go out of its way to call you an asshole. So no, I don't buy that. And I think 4 was, I mean, Apocalypse had some interesting ideas, like kind of deconstructing the neutral route of previous Shin Megami Tensei games, really playing up the fact that neutral routes always do involve betraying your friends and oh, why do I keep trying to intimidate? That never works. Anyway. Yeah, deconstructing the neutral route, kind of playing with the implications of it. I thought that was kind of interesting, and, you know, the whole thing about law and chaos being two sides of the same coin. I think previous games suggested that, but Apocalypse really ran with it. But honestly, it was just like there were just too many RPG cliches hidden under the Shin Megami Tensei veneer that it was just like really jarring, and it was just, the tone of the game wasn't consistent, even if you leave out the way it was marketed in the West. 4 I thought was a lot more interesting, although I had complaints about that too. It was like, I really think 4 would have been a much better game, or at least a more original game in the context of the franchise, if you spent more of it in, oh crap, now I can't remember the name of the kingdom. Shoot, I'm gonna... Yes, I'm actually looking it up. Mikado, that's it, yeah. Like, if more of the game took place in Mikado than in Tokyo, I think it would have been a more interesting game. It could have been... It could have really played up, like, the contrast between traditional RPGs and urban dark fantasy RPGs like Shin Megami Tensei. And I mean, they did do a little bit of that in, like, the item descriptions and the contrast between the samurai of Mikado and how they view the post-apocalyptic society of Tokyo. But besides flavored text, I don't think the story really went as far with it as it could have. It basically, you know, you start out in a fairly traditional RPG land, but once you get to Tokyo, the game turns more into a traditional Shin Megami Tensei game. That was my opinion. So 4 is probably the least favorite in my... Well, let me take that back. Apocalypse is probably my least favorite game in the whole series now. But 4 is kind of close behind it. But even then, I mean, enjoyed both games. I played them to the end. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't enjoy them. And, it was fun to fight Yahweh again. And I was surprised that they got away with that too. I thought that was like the one thing they could never do on any of the games released to an international market is, have a protagonist that actually battles the Judeo-Christian God. But yeah, they totally did it. So in that sense, the game actually was as edgy as it was marketed. It was just all the other yay, teamwork stuff that the game was full of. Anyway. Should I... Playing the later games just spoils me because you have the, if you screw up or if you need to get another demon that you had before, you can always go to the compendium. It always costs a lot of money, but, it's not really that much of a burden. But this is old school. If you waste a demon, you absolutely have to go back. I just can't risk it yet. I'm happy with the demons I have. Screw it, I might go back. But yeah, seriously, like, fusing demons is always the most stressful part of these games to me because I'm so indecisive, and like, even in the older games, there's just so many choices to make. I don't even get the people who try to go for the get all the demons in your party achievement. That would just stress me out. Even if I was using a guide to do it, it would just, ugh. Ishin Komokuten, I am at your service. They all say the same thing. Probably shouldn't bother reading that. Alright, let's see what else we can get. And it's a little more stressful for this game because I don't know if anybody ever bothered mapping out all the demon fusion recipes for this game. They probably did, but I guess it's always a possibility. Hey. Yes, Pazuzu. Of course, every time I hear that name, I have flashbacks, not to The Exorcist, but to The Exorcist 2, where there's lots of shouting of the name Pazuzu. And I can't do it as well as Richard Burton did. But anyway, if you haven't seen Exorcist 2, please do so. I cannot claim that it would be a pleasurable cinematic experience, but it would be a memorable one. I'm just glad that the 16-bit remake of this game gives you the auto mapping system. I mean, I know people are nostalgic for it, like the people who play Eddie and Odyssey, and God, I can't pronounce anything today. And like, there is a certain pleasure in doing that kind of thing. Like, I recently played one of the old Might and Magic games. It might have been the first one. It was like a couple years ago. And like, if you rely on maps from the internet, you're kind of missing out, because part of the fun is like making sure you cover every square inch of the game map, and you know, making little notes and notations to yourself. And I don't know, I'm probably revealing myself as like an ancient decaying figure by saying that, but it definitely is like a different kind of gaming experience. But at the same time, for a game like this, it's good to have the mapping system, so the auto mapping system, so you don't have to worry about, you know, you can blow your brain cells on worrying about demon fusions and that kind of thing. Also, these games are designed so that even with auto mapping, it doesn't make dungeon crawling easy, and it doesn't take away from the exploration aspect. Because, I mean, as you can see, I'm still trying to cover every block. This is how these games should be played. Try talking. Yeah, like with Shin Megami Tensei 1, it seems like all you can do is bribe, unless I'm missing something really obvious, but... I honestly don't remember. I actually watched some of my old videos to prepare for this Let's Play because I'd forgotten where I was in the game. But I don't know if I covered this already, but if you're wondering, my favorite game in the series, I won't say the franchise because I really don't have one, but my favorite game in the main series is, without a doubt, Nocturne. And I think a lot of people would agree with me. Shin Megami Tensei 2 is a close second, but like, I think Nocturne just has that right combo of... It strikes the right balance between doing something new, and having a new take on the series, and following where the series had been before. And I don't think 4 has that. I mean, I think... I was excited about 4 because I managed to avoid most spoilers, and like the whole Mikado angle was intriguing to me. I think I did know that you end up in Tokyo at some point. But like the whole idea of having a Shin Megami Tensei game that takes place in, at least partially, in this medieval world, that was really interesting to me. So, like, the fact that it kind of gets dropped was disappointing. I might be being too harsh when I say dropped, but I mean that's what it felt like playing it. So, all right. But yeah, I promise after this game, the next game, if I decide to continue doing Let's Plays, the next game is not going to be an RPG. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Okay. Emerald is here. Take it. Yes. It's always so rewarding when you find gems in the older games. Oh. Basilisk. Who I believe a man back in Ginza asked us to kill. Yeah, better buff up. Oh, well. Oh, that was a waste of time, but at least we got a ton of experience points. Alright. Always pays to make sure your healer is quick on the draw. RPGs 101. Does this take me to another area? I believe so. Make sure I finish exploring, because I know I'm supposed to at least find, I think it's, that corporate office that the guy was telling me about. Make sure I got enough mag by killing undead enemies. And, yeah, that's another thing I definitely don't miss in other games. Needing magnetite to summon demons and keep them summoned. I was so glad they got rid of that. I can't remember if it was an element in the books. I don't know why it's there, honestly. It's just... It just feels like such an artificial challenge, you know, like, time limits on platforming games, you know? It's just kind of there to discourage you from playing the game how you want. Taking time to explore and, you know, stuff like that. Or in this case, just bringing your strongest demons out and, you know, seeing what you can do strategically. That's the Lord of Demons, Lucifer. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Why is he here? He was supposed to have been defeated long ago. Megami Tensei 1, in fact. Although you don't freeze him in that game, you just beat him in a battle, so... People always complain about the amount of encounters. And I mean, that's fair, but, you know, they always leave out that you can just recruit a demon, talk to it, and it will leave you alone. That definitely makes the games a lot less frustrating. Ah, new floor. There's a guard here. Will you talk to him? Who are you? Are you here to meet someone? Yes. And over Suzuki's card. Wait here. The president will see you now. Welcome. I hear you've been stirring up trouble as the Messiah. The balance of power in Tokyo is split between Pazuzu in the west and Baal in the east. But if Lucifer would awaken from underneath Ginza, even those two would be unable to oppose him. Plot thickens.